Hey, what's up? I'm the Zim. This is the Zim video. This is volume 3, part 24 of my rideshare experience video series. Been a rideshare driver since February 2nd, 2017. And I've been documenting the whole thing on YouTube. You like how I have a desk lamp underneath the desk to backlight it? Ghetto. That's what you call ghetto, folks. Anyways, hey, I don't know, whatever. How many of you have joined me here because of my rideshare nuggets? Comment, let me know. Subscribe too. Where is it? Right there? Yeah, right there. Down there in the corner. Subscribe to the channel. That'd be excellent. Because I want to do more YouTube, and subscribers are where it's at, yo. So, thanks a lot for joining. I like to start off with how much I made. That was a week's nap, whatever. Let's start with Uber. I made $297.46, 24 of which was tips on the app. Did 42 rides total. Did 15.5 app hours. So there's Uber. Let's do Lyft. Same thing with Lyft. $509.30. $86.24 of which were tips on the app, which is great. Pretty great. Did 68 rides with Lyft. Did 22.5 app hours with Lyft. And of course, so combined hours, 38 hours of app time. Of course, that's overlapping app time. So, I don't know, 35. Let's say I worked 35 hours last week of dedicated in the car time. Because these days, I don't have the app on unless I'm in the car. So I don't wait here. I used to, a long time ago when I first started. If you roll back to the beginning of this whole series, I used to do things here with the app on and then leave the house. But nowadays, app's on, I'm in the car, going after it, trying to make it happen. 110 total rides. So total, with all that, let's leave the Lyft thing up there while I'm talking. $815.76 is what I made this week. Didn't divide that by any of those things, but whatever. I did $119.24 in tips, and that includes $9 in cash tips I got. The heads-up display will show all that information. So yeah, I did really great. I did pretty good on my tip goals. One of the questions this week is about tips. We'll talk a little bit more about tips later on. Or not necessarily about tips, but references tips. Let's do the daily breakdown with Uber. That's what I did each day. It's funny to me. So my schedule was a little wonky. My daughter had a birthday party this week, so on Saturday during the day I didn't work. I worked starting at 5 p.m. I did like a short shift from 5 to 10 p.m. And I did not get any rides off Uber. 0 rides. I got all my rides on Saturday off Lyft. The apps were on, they're both waiting, but it's just the way the world worked. And then it was, so let's do the Lyft daily breakdown. So when I started again on Sunday, like the first 5 rides were all with Lyft. So I was like, I went on this big long stretch of Lyft. And as you can tell, what I showed you already, my numbers for Lyft were a lot better than with Uber this week. So, I don't know. I just found it kind of interesting to point out that. So that's what I did. All right. So that's enough with that. How much I made. I don't know. I just like to show you how much I made so you can get a practical example of how much I make. And, my goal these days is $800. So I broke my goal by $15.76. Trying to spend less time in the car. It's really rough for me personally, financially, to make it on just $800 a week. But I'm making it enough. I'm squeaking by. So that $1,000 mark is what I went for a long time. But I'm just totally burnt out. I can't even tolerate being in the car for 40 plus hours anymore. And I was close to it, 38 hours this week. And I thought on Sunday I was contemplating driving more, because I got my goal. I hit my goal by like 2 o'clock or something. I don't even know. It was something like that, 3 o'clock maybe, somewhere in the day. I hit my goal, and then I was like, I should keep driving and make more money to make life easier. But I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna go enjoy life. So I went out and I went and watched John Wick Chapter 3, which was alright. I like the other two better, in my opinion, from what I remember. I'll have to watch them all again just to have a better comparison. But yeah, so anyways, there's that. That's how much I made, how I made it. If you have any questions for me, feel free to let me know in the comments. Yeah. I wanted to say something else. I wanted to say as well that I'm just documenting this whole thing. I'm documenting the process. So even if you might be watching this, if you made it to this part of the video, like, Zim didn't make shit this week. Why should I pay attention to him? Well, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, so you can see if you decide to investigate, you can be like, oh, he does. Some weeks he's made a lot of money, other weeks not so much. And that's the point. That's the point for me. One of the biggest points of this video series was to give you a practical example, practical reality of what the job is all about. So if you're new to it, you could be like, maybe, hopefully, maybe I can be a small guide of an idea of like what rideshare, what you're getting into. Get it? Anyways, ask me if you don't, and I'll try to explain it better. Shout outs and mail time. So this is part of the show where I like to shout out to people that I haven't seen comment on any of my rideshare videos. The Rideshare Experience video series, which you're watching right now, or the Rideshare Nuggets, which are also on this channel. A little shorter, 5 minutes or around 5 minutes or less. Concepts and ideas I talk about rideshare driving, so check those out if you haven't. So I have 3 shout outs. Dennis Lee, Derek2250, which I think maybe has commented before, but like I do say, if I forget, then you get an extra shout out. And Robert, I have many Roberts that chime in on my stuff, but this is Robert, just Robert. But in his comment, he wrote Rideshare Robert, so maybe he has his own rideshare channel. I don't know, I didn't check it out yet. So thanks guys for commenting. And now we're going to do mail time. So I take questions from you based on comments or emails or other stuff. I'll tell you how to contact me at the end of the questions. But the first one comes from Rory Finneran. And Rory is actually a referral driver on my account. So thanks, Rory. You are actually giving rides. I really appreciate it. I guess I email. So if you've been at this a while, like I have, you know they've done multiple different ways of giving referrals, bonuses for drivers. For a time when I first started, it was like it is now again, where you have to he has to complete 330 rides in like 90 days or something. Yeah, 90 days, 3 months, I guess, in order for us both to get a $350 bonus, which is awesome. So he has to complete that whole thing before either one of us see the bonus. Whereas for a time, not too long ago, they called it drip. What do they call it? I have it right here. Drip. I emailed them because I was like, why? Oh, yeah, right here. Sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Mention your Zoom. Drip referral. Drip referrals are a type of bonus that ensure the driver will receive a percentage of the bonus, even if the total number of rides are not met. But they no longer do that. For now, in San Diego, the bonus that I get, you have to get the entire bonus. So now you know. Anyways, enough of that. Okay. So his question is, Zim, I've got a question. How do you generally handle getting long rides that take you very far from your home area? How far will you get before you put the app in destination mode and head back? Tomorrow will be my 4th day in the Express Drive program. So far, so good. All right. That is going good. So how I deal with the rides that take me far away, like in San Diego, LA is not too far away, relatively. So we can get rides to LA. I've done that 3 times. But there's also some places that are about an hour outside. LA is about an hour, an hour and a half if you're lucky, 2 hours if it's pretty normal, 3 hours if it sucks traffic-wise, away from San Diego. But there's a bunch of areas that are about an hour away, and which I get fairly regular, not as often, but fairly regular. And so just depends on what time my shift is, or what time of my shift I've got those rides. Earlier in my shift or earlier in the day, I just kind of go and just take them and just kind of reckless abandon with everything and don't worry about it. Wherever it takes me, it takes me. But at the end of my shift, maybe like even in the end of my, like I do a split shift. I work in the morning and then the evening. So toward the end of my morning shift, or definitely toward the end of my evening shift, when I'm kind of getting tired and ready to get home, I'll start using destination mode. If I get put out like an hour outside of San Diego, I'll put destination mode just so I don't get pushed out even farther, because I'm pretty strict about just cutting it off at like when I'm done. Like these days, especially like 10-ish, around 10 p.m. these days is when I'm just done driving. So if I'm out there somewhere, I don't even put it on destination mode. I just head home, just turn off the apps and go home, because destination mode just increases the amount of time it takes you to get anywhere. Because it's a pretty wide, like if you're on the freeway, it's a pretty wide berth off the freeway, and then it could take, like, you could get the request, which is like 10 minutes off the freeway, and then that ride could be like, however farther. It doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna go, like for me, I'm normally north and I want to head south. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be heading directly in the direction you're going. It means you're not gonna go the direction away, because I've had it happen where I've gone only east and west, never made it south any farther. I haven't gotten closer to my goal of getting home. So in those situations, I just turn the app off and go home, because I'm like ready. I need to. I'm like wanting to get home. But yeah. So that was a pretty long ramble about that idea. Basically, toward the end of my shift, I could have answered a lot shorter. Toward the end of my shift, I start using destination mode and just get home and just see, maybe if I get something, I get something. If I don't, I don't. I have pretty decent success with destination mode. I've heard a lot of people don't think it works and things like that, but it works for me. It has worked, so I recommend using it. You only get like 5 times a day or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what it is, because I guess they don't want people using it in a way that forces. I don't know. Forces something. Anyways, thanks, Rory. Get those rides in. I want that bonus. I'm sure you did too. So there's that first question. Second question comes from Pico. Zim, what do you think is a fair percentage as far as driver cuts? I don't even know what it is right now, honestly. I just know that if it wasn't for tips, there's my tip reference, I would have quit after the first month. Yeah, I know. Tips are where it's at. Looks like I accidentally thumbed down. Oh, did I thumb down that one? Sorry. If I did. Didn't mean to. Anyways, yeah. So, what's a fair... So, the percentage thing. So, this comes off of one of my Rideshare nuggets. I was talking about wages, I think. It was the title of it. Wages, about driver wages and stuff. And I was talking about this. And I've brought this up a few times in the recent history, because there's been a lot of talk about pay and fair wages and fair pay and all this stuff. And so there's a confused... correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but about a year ago, both platforms changed from a percentage of pay to a mile and minute rate. For a long time, at least with Lyft, you would get a percentage of the ride, and it was still based on mile and minute, but now it's all based on mile and minute. They don't make any guarantees of like you make a percentage, this percentage of the ride. The percentage idea is out the window. So with that in mind, I don't really think of it in a percentage at all. There's still tons of drivers on user groups that will get all their paintings in a twist based on percentage, because they see what the passenger was charged, and then what they got paid. But you're agreeing to a per mile per minute rate. So I'm kind of on that side. So what gets my panties in a twist is the fact that the per mile per minute rate is way too low. In San Diego, the per mile per minute rate is not enough to make a sustainable living. So hence Pico's comment about tips. Yeah, we need, right now, tips make the job somewhat sustainable. But unfortunately, tips don't happen as often as enough. So to answer the question of what do I think is fair, I honestly don't know either. But what I've been running with lately is this idea of, in San Diego, because demand's decent. Demand isn't like off the charts in San Diego, but it's decent. If this demand stayed the same, if everything else stayed the same, and they added this to the equation, this is, I think, would make things a lot more sustainable. $1 per mile, so you're getting $1 per mile, 50 cents a minute. So you're getting 50 cents a minute. Somebody just recently on one of these groups says it takes about a minute to drive a mile with, I guess, no traffic. So you'd be making $1.50 a minute. Which ain't so bad, I guess. Anyways, side tangent thought there. Dollar per mile, 50 cents a minute, I think would be pretty good in that way. And here's the kicker. This is the one that, man, this would be like epically awesome. And I honestly don't think it would affect like the way passengers would think about it wouldn't jack the price up so much that they would get all frustrated about it. Because even the dollar per mile, 50 cents a minute idea, that would barely make a significant difference in what passengers would pay. I think, but it would make a massive difference in what we get paid. Anyways, the kicker one is never less. The driver never makes less than $5 per ride. $5 per ride. Never makes less than $5 per ride. Right now in San Diego on both Lyft and Uber, the lowest I make, because I'm just in a standard car, the lowest I make per ride is $3. The least amount I'll make per ride is $3, which happens a lot. And those $3.15, under $4, just like under $5 rides, happen so much in San Diego that the amount of time, and I haven't actually done the math on this, but this is what it feels like, and I'm sure I'm right. The amount of time it takes to do like 3 rides that are all within that under, that $3 range. You make $9 to $10 to $11, $12 off of these 3 rides. The amount of time that takes, if you had one ride that took the same amount of time, you'd make so much more. You'd make like way more. Like if it was like a ride out, could you get on the freeway and you're going. So 3 rides in San Diego basically takes an hour. You get about 2 to 2.5 rides per hour is a pretty safe average. Maybe 3 on a pretty good, if it's weekend time and stuff. So 3 rides an hour is pretty much the most you can ever expect to make. And if they're all 3 short rides, you make nothing. But if it's 1 long ride that took an hour, if you're a driver, if you had a ride that you were on the freeway, no traffic, and it took you an hour, you'd make $90 or something. It'd be like awesome. So they'd have to do better with the lower rates, the small rides, because they don't tip either. Nobody tips, so it's like if they're expecting the $3 rides to be bumped up to $5 because they give a $2 tip, it doesn't happen. Because what is the passenger getting charged? They're getting charged $6 or $7, and then they're gonna put it They're gonna make it $10. I don't know. Just make that low limit $5. You always make $5 off of every ride, and then once and keep everything the same. It's just the minimum ride is $5, and then once you go past the length of a ride that would have kicked it above $5, then it just becomes that amount now. So anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Thanks for the questions. If you have any of your own, this is what I was mentioning before, at RideshareZim on Instagram, _Zim@hotmail.com, and comments on these videos are where it's at. I have a minute left. I'm going to restart the camera. So this is my main topic today. I'm not sure what I titled it. As of recording it, I haven't thought of a good title. But essentially, it's the idea of what do you ask of your passengers? Like if you go through drive-through and they offer you something, when passengers offer you something, drive-through, 7-Eleven, convenience stores, pretty frequent, not crazy frequent, but frequent enough. And it probably happens more for the overnight drivers, because the drive-through people happen at that time more because people are drunk and high and stoned or whatever, and they're hungry for stuff. So, that's when it happens. But it happens to me every once in a while. People ask, I take a lot of people to the parties, so a lot of 7-Eleven stops for if they want to get their half rack of beer or whatever, and they're going, and sometimes they ask, say, hey, you want anything? Power drink, whatever they call them, sport drink and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. What I asked for is a scratcher. Every time, this is a little bit of the, I've never told you this before. Since I'm wrapping up my full-time driving, I'm starting to tell you more things about things I've done and do that I haven't shared with you before. But every time somebody asks me what I want from a 7-Eleven, I say, buy me $1 scratcher. Oftentimes they buy me 2, or sometimes they buy me a couple different things. I just say buy me a scratcher, and they buy me a scratcher. So far, I haven't won anything like significant. Twice I've won a new ticket, and this is the one I'm holding up right now. Is a I won this ticket. I won this ticket, and then I scratched it off, and almost, well, I don't know, almost, they bait you. So the top prize on this one is $5,000, and I scratched off two 5,000 numbers because it was a match 3, and you win that award thing. Scratched off two 5,000s, and I was one 5,000 away from $5,000 scratcher ticket. But anyways, what do you ask? What do you typically? What's your go-to? And you can steal mine if you want. It's like I have this thing about gambling. Like I don't like to do it. I don't typically do it. I don't typically really ever buy myself a scratcher. But because it's somebody else's money, I feel like less, I don't know, weird about it. I just like, yeah, it's their money. So anyways, what do you ask for when your passenger says, hey, what do you want? I don't know, do you have a favorite drive-through spot, or do you have a favorite thing from 7-Eleven that you ask them to get you a favorite energy drink? Or are you going to start using mine and have them buy you a scratcher? Anyways, that's the show this week. Thanks for watching, and until next time, hope your rides are long, because long rides are where the money's at, like I was just telling you. I just broke it down for you, that whole idea. Long rides where the money's at. And then, hope your tips are big, because I just broke that down for you too. Tips are what makes the job sustainable. Gotta have tips. If we don't have tips, it's not worth it. Totally not worth it. If magically tips disappeared, this job would suck even worse than it does already. And then, be excellent to each other. Peace.